Lost Word of Jenny. Tokyo Tower 2021, directed by Hitoshi Ono and Kazuya Shiraishi, is an upcoming Japanese romance comedy film. Was released on April 9, 2021. Japanese illustrator Lily Frankie as Jerry the Magical Hat is a role similar to Barbie, which is a cameo appearance. Also people search such as Hiroki Hasegawa, Kotaro Yoshida, Eri Fukatsu, Joe Odagiri, Natsuki Kawamura, Pierre Taki, Aliza Kada, Masami Nagasawa, Masaharu Fukuyama, Yayako Uchida, Suzuki Matsuo, and Sosuke Ikumatsu, which crews such as Hirokazu Korida, Hitoshi Ono and Kazuya Shiraishi. Also featuring actors such as Mila Aina, Kafka Shishido, Kenichi Endo, Tamaro Otaguchi, Fung Tien, Tokyo Imoto, Miyonehori, a girl group of Nagazaka 46, George Takoro, Tetsu Watanabe, Tetsuji Tamayama, Goto Utaro and Jun Murakami. Takara Barbie differs from a Western Barbie. Takara Barbie was altered to better appeal to Japanese preferences with a shorter height, large rounded manga-style eyes and a closed mouth. The doll's physical figure is more natural than the Western Barbie's exaggerated figure. Like her Western counterpart, Jenny wears a large variety of outfits, which often include street fashion, school uniforms, kimono, and other uniquely Japanese costumes, such as bullet train stewardess Jenny. Today the Jenny doll is a sentimental favorite doll in Japan, but she is much less popular than Lika-chan, Japan's market leader fashion doll. Prior to 1986, the doll was known as Takara Barbie. In 1986, Takara ended their licensing agreement with Mattel, and, as they owned the rights over the Takara Barbie's design, came up with a new name for the doll. The explanation given for the name change was that Jenny was the name of a character Barbie portrayed in a play, also titled Jenny. The play was a success and Barbie had become so associated with her character's name that she decided to change it to Jenny. Jenny's boyfriend was renamed from Takara Ken to Jeff. Jenny is a 10.5-inch fashion doll produced by Japanese toy company now known as Takaratomi Tomy since 1982. The doll was known as Takara Barbie, and in 1986 the doll was renamed Jenny, after Takara ended their licensing agreement with Mattel.
Jenny のファッションテーマはクール。LA のファッションをベースにパンチのある要素を出してかっこよくまとめたスタイル。ヘアメイクはエクステをつけたクールなロングヘア。クールスタイル、ジェニー。
To present the Soul Train Music Award for R&B Album of the Year by a male, here are Sinbad, Brian McKnight, and Jeanne.
The nominees for the R&B Album of the Year by a male are...
For the Cooler News, Babyface. I'm Ready, Tevin Campbell. The hit, the B-side, Prince. And Never Let Me Go, Luther Vandross.
The Soul Train Music Award goes to For the Cool and You, Babyface.
Let me. First thing I want to say is I don't believe it, first of all, but first thing I'd like to say, it's nice to know that a record like this at this point, in this time, it seems kind of unpopular to do a record that's that doesn't start with a 5-letter word, that starts with a B, talking about women. And it's nice to know you don't have to say that these days. But first of all, I'd like to thank my wife, Tracy. I'd like to thank my mom. I'd like to thank my best friend, Daryl Simmons, and co-producer L.A. Reid as well. The record company, Sony Records. I'd like to thank my manager, Ramon Hervey. But most of all, I'd like to thank all my fans, and thanks for being there for me. I love you all.
The 8th Annual Soul Train Music Awards will continue with Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown.
いい香りでしょう。低温でじっくり抽出 UCC コールドブリュー。
コールドブリュー。
いえコールドブリュー。コールドブリュー。コールドブリュー。
コールドブリューです。
まあそれでいい。
川村那月です。女優タレントです。女優として初めてお仕事をした時に、このお仕事を一生やり続けたいなと思いました。
リリー・ベルのコットンマスクって蒸れなくて本当にお気に入りなんですよ。
いろんな役を演じて表現することの楽しさを知りました。20年間習っていたクラシックバレエを通して基礎の大切さを学びました。
そんなことよりもちょっとは恋なんぞ。
だから表現者としてもっと努力してたくさんの人に笑顔を届けたいです。コットンって絶対必要じゃないですか。細かなとこまでしっかりケアができて、たっぷり潤ってる自分の肌を見ると、明日もやってやるぞって。
私を表現したいんだ
On February 9, 1991, James Cleveland died in Culver City, California. He was 59. Some reports list the cause of death as congestive heart failure, stating that the singer had fallen into a coma shortly before his death. He is interred at Inglewood Park Cemetery in Inglewood, California. White was overweight for most of his adult life and suffered from related health problems. In October 1995, White was admitted to a hospital as a result of high blood pressure. In August 1999, White was forced to cancel a month's worth of tour dates owing to exhaustion, high blood pressure and a hectic schedule. In September 2002, White was hospitalized with kidney failure attributed to chronic diabetes mellitus and high blood pressure. While undergoing dialysis and awaiting a kidney transplant in May 2003, White suffered a severe stroke, which forced him to retire from public life. On July 4, 2003, White died at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles at the age of 58. His remains were cremated, and the ashes were scattered in the ocean off the Californian coast. Tisdale died on May 15, 2009, at St. John Medical Center in Tulsa, where his wife had taken him when he had trouble breathing. She later confirmed that he died after his esophagus ruptured following radiation treatments for his cancer. Tisdale's agent described his death as a great shock, and noted that Tisdale had been planning to go into the recording studio the following week for a project with jazz guitarist Norman Brown. In 2003, Charles had successful hip replacement surgery and was planning to go back on tour, until he began suffering from other ailments. He died at his home in Beverly Hills, California of complications resulting from liver failure, on June 10, 2004, at the age of 73. His funeral took place on June 18, 2004, at the First African Methodist Episcopal Church of Los Angeles with numerous musical figures in attendance. B.B. King, Glenn Campbell, Stevie Wonder and Wynton Marsalis each played a tribute at the funeral. He was interred in the Inglewood Park Cemetery. The remaining 8 shows of his 2014 tour were cancelled because of health problems caused by complications from high blood pressure and diabetes. King died in his sleep on May 14, 2015, at the age of 89, from vascular dementia caused by a series of small strokes as a consequence of his type 2 diabetes. 2 of his daughters alleged that King was deliberately poisoned by 2 associates trying to induce diabetic shock. However, an autopsy showed no evidence of poisoning. Campbell died in Nashville, Tennessee, on August 8, 2017, at the age of 81. Vandross suffered from diabetes and hypertension. On April 16, 2003, Vandross suffered a severe stroke at his home in New York City and was in a coma for nearly 2 months. The stroke affected his ability to speak and sing, and required him to use a wheelchair. Vandross died on July 1, 2005, at the JFK Medical Center in Edison, New Jersey, at the age of 54 of a heart attack. On November 10, 2006, Gerald Levert was found dead in his bed at his Cleveland, Ohio, home when his cousin tried to wake him. Initial reports stated that Levert had died of an apparent heart attack. On June 25, 2009, less than 3 weeks before the first This Is It show was due to begin in London, with all concerts sold out, Jackson died from cardiac arrest. On August 13, 2018, Franklin was reported to be gravely ill at her home in Riverfront Towers, Detroit. She was under hospice care and surrounded by friends and family. Stevie Wonder, Jesse Jackson and ex-husband Glenn Turman visited her on her deathbed. Franklin died at her home on August 16, 2018, aged 76 without a will. The cause of death was a malignant pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor, which is distinct from the most common form of pancreatic cancer. On June 5, 2009, Pendergrass underwent successful surgery for colon cancer and returned home to recover. A few weeks later he returned to the hospital with respiratory issues. After 7 months, he died of respiratory failure on January 13, 2010 with his wife Joan by his side, at Bryn Mawr Hospital in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. He was 59. His body was interred at the West Laurel Hill Cemetery in Ballackinwood, Pennsylvania. Levert became ill while incarcerated in the Cuyahoga County Correctional Facility. Prior to his transfer to a state prison, reporting high blood pressure and hallucinations, he died 6 days after being admitted to the jail, on March 30. The Cuyahoga County coroner ruled in May that his death was caused by complications from sarcoidosis. The official coroner's report also noted contributing factors of high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, and withdrawal from Xanax. He was 39 years old. In 2010, his widow was awarded $4 million as a result of lawsuit filed against Cuyahoga County. This film was presented by Toho.